Welcome, dear friends. Today, I invite you to join me in exploring the proven spiritual ways to be happy in life. Happiness is a quest that each one of us is on, and yet it often eludes us. We search for it in possessions, in accolades, in the eyes of others, but true happiness comes from within. It is a state of being that we can cultivate with intention and mindfulness. Let's begin by considering the nature of our thoughts. Our thoughts are powerful forces that shape our reality. The ancient sages taught that the mind is like a garden, and our thoughts are the seeds. We can plant flowers or we can plant weeds. What we cultivate in the garden of our mind ultimately determines the quality of our life. If we allow negative thoughts to take root, our inner landscape becomes overgrown with the weeds of unhappiness. However, if we nurture positive thoughts, we can grow a garden that blooms with joy. Now, how do we cultivate such a garden? It starts with awareness. We must become vigilant gardeners of our mind, aware of which seeds we're planting. Do we dwell on our shortcomings or celebrate our strengths? Do we focus on what's missing or appreciate what we have? Every thought is a choice, and with each choice comes the power to influence our happiness.
Another key aspect is gratitude. Gratitude is the sunshine that nurtures our garden. It has the power to transform our perspective, to turn what we have into enough and more. It's about finding the magic in the mundane, the extraordinary in the ordinary. But how often do we truly practice gratitude? Do we acknowledge the air in our lungs, the food on our table, the love in our lives? It's easy to take these for granted, but they are the very essence of life's blessings. Furthermore, let's reflect on our connections with others. Our relationships are like the water that sustains the garden of our mind. They can nourish and support our growth, or they can deplete and destroy it. The quality of our connections has a profound impact on our happiness. When we forge deep, meaningful relationships, we open ourselves up to a world of support, love, and shared joy. Conversely, when we isolate ourselves or surround ourselves with negativity, our garden withers. But what does it mean to have a meaningful relationship? It's not just about the number of friends we have or the status of our partnerships. It's about the depth of connection, the authenticity of our interactions. It's about being present with each other, truly listening, and showing up with our whole hearts. Do we offer such presence to others? Do we receive it? This give and take is the very essence of human connection and a cornerstone of happiness. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. Now let's turn our attention to our actions. Our actions are the soil in which the seeds of our thoughts and relationships are planted. They ground us in the physical world and reflect our inner state. When our actions align with our values, we live with integrity, and this alignment breeds happiness. But how often do we act out of alignment, pressured by society's expectations or our own fears? It takes courage to live authentically, to act in accordance with our deepest truths. But the reward is a life of happiness, a life that feels genuinely ours. Consider this. When was the last time you acted in complete alignment with your core values? How did it make you feel? There is a profound satisfaction that comes from such alignment, a sense of peace that transcends external circumstances. This is because happiness is not about the absence of challenges, but about the presence of alignment within ourselves. As we wrap up this first part of our exploration, let's sit with the realization that happiness is an inside job. It's a garden we can cultivate through mindful thoughts, gratitude, deep connections, and aligned actions. Reflect on this as you consider the state of your own garden. Harmonizing the heartstrings. The art of forgiveness,
purpose and simplicity in the pursuit of joy. In our ongoing quest for happiness, let us now turn towards the transformative practice of forgiveness. Forgiveness is the gentle rain that washes away the grime of resentment and pain from our hearts, allowing new seeds of joy to sprout. It is an act of liberation, not just for the one who is forgiven, but perhaps even more so for the one who forgives. When we harbor grudges and cling to past hurts, we anchor ourselves to a moment in time that we cannot change. This anchor can be so heavy that it prevents us from moving forward, from experiencing the current of life that flows towards joy. But when we forgive, we lift that anchor and free ourselves to navigate the waters of life unencumbered. Forgiveness, however, is not about pretending something didn't happen or allowing others to continue to harm us. It's about releasing the hold that past events have on us. We often resist forgiveness because we believe it condones the wrong, but in truth, it simply acknowledges that holding on to the pain no longer serves us. It is a gift we give ourselves, a declaration that we are no longer willing to be defined by the injuries of the past. To forgive is to undergo a profound internal shift. It is to choose understanding over judgment, compassion over condemnation. Consider the people in your life who have wronged you. Can you see the hurt behind their actions? Can you recognize the shared humanity in both their flaws and your own? This is not an easy task, but it is a worthwhile one. Forgiveness does not happen overnight. It is a process, a journey back to peace. Now, let's explore the concept of purpose. Each of us is born with a unique set of gifts and talents, and a part of our happiness comes from sharing these with the world. When we align our actions with our purpose, we feel a sense of fulfillment that is deeply nourishing. We become channels through which creativity, service, and beauty flow. But many of us lose sight of our purpose, distracted by the noise of the world, the pressure of expectations, and the fear of inadequacy. How do we rediscover our purpose? It begins with listening, with turning inward and tuning into the whispers of our soul. It requires us to strip away the layers of identity we've constructed, the job titles, the social roles, the masks we wear, and to ask, what brings me alive? When we act from this place of aliveness, we step into a space of joy that is infectious, that touches everyone we encounter. But living with purpose is not just about the grand gestures. It's found in the small, everyday actions too. It's in the way we speak, the way we treat others, the way we engage with the world around us. It's in the moments we choose kindness over indifference, courage over fear. Each of these choices is a thread in the tapestry of our lives, and when we weave with intent, we create a masterpiece of joy. As we look towards the horizon of our lives, let us also consider the role of simplicity. In a world that often equates happiness with more possessions, more achievements, more stimulation, simplicity invites us to find contentment with less. It asks us to strip away the non-essential, to declutter our lives not just of physical possessions, but of unnecessary desires and distractions. Simplicity is the spaciousness that allows joy to expand. What does simplicity look like for you? It might mean slowing down, prioritizing your well-being, or finding joy in the ordinary moments. It's about being fully present with what is, rather than chasing what might be. It's the quiet walk in nature, the heartfelt conversation with a friend, the warmth of the sun on your skin. Simplicity is not about a life devoid of pleasure. It's about the discernment to know what brings true pleasure, what feeds the soul rather than just the senses. In embracing simplicity, we also encounter the concept of enough. Our culture often tells us we need more to be happy, but what if we already have enough? This realization is like the fertile soil that nourishes every plant in our garden. When we appreciate the abundance of our lives, we tap into a wellspring of happiness that is not contingent on external circumstances. As we conclude this second part, reflect on the power of forgiveness, the clarity of purpose, and the peace of simplicity. These are not just concepts but practical tools for cultivating happiness. They are choices we can make every day, actions we can take to water the seeds of joy within us. Are you feeling the gentle rain of forgiveness? Can you sense the direction of your purpose? Do you feel the spaciousness that simplicity brings? When you are ready, we will continue our exploration into the deeper dimensions of happiness, the harmony of inner stillness, cultivating contentment from within. As we journey deeper into the essence of true happiness, we approach a profound realization: the significance of inner stillness. It is in the quietude of our being that we can truly listen to the whispers of joy. Inner stillness is not the absence of movement or sound. It is the presence of an unwavering peace amidst the ebb and flow of life. To cultivate inner stillness, we must first understand the nature of our own minds. Our minds can be incessant chatterboxes, constantly commentating on our lives and what we perceive around us. This chatter, often rooted in the past or anxious about the future, can drown out the serenity of the present moment. But when we engage in practices that quiet the mind, like meditation, deep breathing, or mindful walking, we create space for stillness. We learn to observe our thoughts without getting entangled in them. Consider the moments when you felt truly at peace. What were you doing? Were you lost in thought, or were you fully immersed in the here and now? Inner stillness is often found in those moments when we are fully present, when the mind's chatter subsides and we simply are. We find that in stillness, there is a contentment that does not depend on the external world, but rather emerges from within. The practice of mindfulness is a key to unlocking this stillness. Mindfulness is the art of paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, and without judgment. It is the practice of being here, fully and completely. When we are mindful, we are not regretting the past or worrying about the future. We are living in the only moment that truly exists, now. And it is in this now that happiness finds fertile ground to flourish. Let's also talk about the role of self-acceptance in our happiness. To be happy, we must come to terms with who we are, including our imperfections. Self-acceptance is the warm embrace that we extend to ourselves, an affirmation that we are enough just as we are. It is a recognition of our humanity, our complexities, and the beauty of our imperfect journey. Ask yourself, when was the last time you looked in the mirror and genuinely smiled at the person staring back at you? Self-acceptance is not complacency. It is the foundation upon which we can build and grow. It is the understanding that while we are not perfect, we are worthy of love and happiness. This acceptance liberates us from the shackles of self-criticism and allows us to step into the light of self-compassion. In the realm of spiritual happiness, we must also embrace the concept of impermanence. Everything around us is in a constant state of flux. Seasons change, relationships evolve, and life itself is a dynamic dance of coming and going. By understanding and accepting the transient nature of all things, we free ourselves from the grip of attachment. We learn to appreciate the fleeting beauty of each moment, knowing it is a temporary gift. Impermanence teaches us to live more fully. Why? Because when we recognize that nothing lasts forever, we are more likely to savor the experiences we have. We become less preoccupied with accumulating possessions and more interested in creating memories. We invest more in our relationships, more in the quality of our experiences, and ultimately, more in our own growth. As we come to the end of this third part, Take a moment to reflect on the tranquility of inner stillness, the clarity that comes with mindfulness, the nurturing embrace of self-acceptance, and the liberating truth of impermanence. These are not just spiritual concepts, they are practical aspects of a happy life, woven into the fabric of our daily existence. The Symphony of Serenity, orchestrating a life in harmony with joy. In our final movement in this exploration of happiness, let us consider how the individual melodies of forgiveness, purpose, simplicity, stillness, mindfulness, self-acceptance, and impermanence come together to create a symphony of serenity. Like a maestro conducting an orchestra, we have the power to harmonize these elements to compose the opus of our lives. Our quest for happiness often leads us to look outward, but the truest form of happiness resonates from within. It is a state of being that we cultivate and nurture, regardless of external circumstances. This inner harmony is not a static achievement, but a dynamic balance that we continuously strive for. To live a life in harmony with joy, we must become adept at recognizing and adjusting to life's rhythms. There will be times of intense activity and times of restful quietude. There will be moments of exuberant celebration and moments of solemn reflection. Embracing the full range of life's experiences allows us to compose a rich and varied melody that resonates with authenticity. Let us also recognize the role of gratitude in our symphony of serenity. Gratitude is the heart's response to life's abundance. It is the recognition that even in our darkest moments, there is light to be found. When we practice gratitude, we tune our hearts to the frequency of joy and open ourselves to the beauty that surrounds us. Consider starting or ending your day by reflecting on 3 things for which you are grateful. This practice can transform your perspective, turning what we have into enough and more. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. As we weave together the different strands of our happiness, we must also be mindful of the impact we have on others. Our personal symphony of serenity becomes part of a larger composition, the collective happiness of our communities and the world. By living with kindness, empathy, and compassion, we not only enrich our own lives but also contribute to the well-being of those around us.